Oh yeah. So, and you guys check out this President Zelensky meeting in the White House with Trump and Vice President DJ.
I caught a little bit of it. Fill me in.
Uh I mean my take on it was I've seen like I believe it was like a roughly like a 11-minute kind of video. But basically the gist of it was I don't think like Trump and them, the United States is too friendly with like the Ukraine now, you know.
Hmm.
Well, basically, like one of the things like Trump was saying is like he wants a ceasefire. He's like, I don't know about
Right.
ending your war right now, but a ceasefire gets people, stops people from dying. And I understand that. And his take was, we've tried that, he's like, but that shit didn't work last time, and then they're like, well, it's gonna work under Trump, shit like that. But yeah, they were like very disrespectful with the president of fucking Ukraine.
Right. Right. And another thing. I mean, the ceasefire, I would think would allow the Russians to dig in deeper in the territories that they're holding. So a ceasefire really favors Putin, I think.
Well, what's your thoughts, Dan? I know you're a big more of a
Well, I think,
Republican.
well, it depends. Yeah, it depends where you on the side you come down. If you're in
Well, did you see the
fear,
video? Did you see the video I'm talking about?
yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
Okay.
I watched the whole thing.
What's your thought on it?
Um, I don't think it was the best look for the administration. I mean, a lot of Republicans like loved the video. I wasn't as big of a fan of it. You saw like Lindsey Graham, like, he 180 flipped his stance on it from the Ukraine war from what happened, which is pretty crazy in and of itself. Because he's a big warmonger guy. Uh, I think is what we have given him so much money and nobody else has given him any money that
Hmm.
I don't really care what the rest of the world says. Like the rest of the world's not happy with us. I don't care because they haven't forked any up. Nobody's forked up any other money. The only other money that's ever been sent to them was in the form of a loan. So, and he can't win the war. There's no march on. This is what I've been saying from the beginning. Is like there's gonna be no march on Moscow. A third time. He can't win the war. He's losing ground pretty much every day. I just I don't understand why we're still doing this. I'm surprised it hasn't ended yet, but
Yeah.
we've given him so much money that we can allow him to continue, but I don't know.
There was a remark there was a remark one of the people said about like they're like, don't you own a suit? They're like, like you never wear a suit and shit.
Yeah, I don't know. That stuff's done. I don't know. He's got his little I get why he wears it, but like I don't know. Yeah, that I don't. I just want the thing to be over. It's
Hmm.
uh
So
I
so do
this is
you
my
think?
opinion.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say this is my opinion is that the West has been pushing this for 20, 30 years and finally Putin had enough and did something about it. So in my opinion, this is actually the West that caused this war, not Russia. This
I
didn't
agree.
start in
I agree. I agree.
This
I
didn't
agree with
start
The
you.
in
the West.
2019. This has been going on for 20, 30 years because
Yeah.
I firmly believe, even though, that we made a deal with the former USSR that we would leave a buffer state of neutral states in between us. And we have been not honoring that agreement for 20 years. And
Yeah.
it finally took us going right to their doorstep and trying to put the Ukraine into NATO that they finally had enough.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, global chess, it's a global chess game. I mean, both sides are making moves. And I think I agree with you. I think America gets wrong. You can't put Putin out because he's got customers. India and China are
Yeah.
buying gas and oil from him, and they're getting it at a decent price. But there's a revenue stream coming in, so the war can keep continuing. I think he's willing to grind his country to the ground in order to stand firm. I think ultimately Trump's maneuvers are going to embolden and strengthen Putin. Putin was going to wind up taking the land that he took. I don't think he's going to take any more, but he's going to hold on to what he has, and that'll be that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
So,
think I don't think Europe has a stomach for a war. Trump's not going to put American troops on the ground to fight against Russian troops. It's not going to happen. So the Europeans are going to be put in a position where they'll contemplate fighting because Poland keeps talking a lot of shit like they're prepared to fight against Russia. Eh, they're prepared to give them a hard time that first month, but they'll be bogged down by the Russian onslaught. Russia will just overwhelm them with equipment and men. You know, that's the way they
I
do
don't
it.
know about that. I don't know about
Hmm.
that.
I mean,
Poland?
that's what they're
mm,
doing now. That's what they're doing now, right,
Wait,
man?
I thought
yeah,
Poland was in NATO.
Poland is part of NATO.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
no,
yeah.
but yeah, Poland is like the next in line. You know, if Ukraine falls, then Poland's next. So Poland's, beating its chest and letting Russia know that they're prepared to fight, kind of letting them know that Western Europe is prepared to fight, but they're not. You know, the French they're bogged down in Africa, and the British, they're not what they used to be. And who do they have left? Well, no
Yeah,
one
but
really.
I do think it's a different story if like they pull some shit with NATO, because we is NATO.
Yeah,
It's like
but Trump is trying
look
to
look what we
disband
did
NATO.
for yeah, look what we did for Ukraine and they ain't even NATO and shit. Like imagine if
Right.
a motherfucker does some shit to NATO, it'll be like all of our arrows will block out the sun.
and I
But
think
remember, yeah,
Oh no, go ahead, John.
no, but remember, America is NATO. You know, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just an excuse for America to have a military buildup. NATO is nothing
Yeah,
without the United States.
I think United States needs a big military as well,
Right. Yeah.
One of the biggest.
Ever.
we have to now.
Yeah.
There's no choice now.
Small government, big military. That's what I believe.
In a perfect world, right? Yeah,
Well, I think that they're trying to crack down on trying to find out where all this money's going in the government too, and that's like a huge fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like billions of dollars have went to Ukraine, but it's like, did it? You know?
no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So it's like I want that stuff investigated. I want to know what the hell, I want them to stop that shit, put an end to that shit, because
That's why I think I think John might agree. There's no Democratic Party right now. There's no
No.
resistance.
No.
So we're on
Yeah.
this train for the time being. So for
Yeah.
good or for bad, there is absolutely there's no pushback right now. So
No, there isn't because I mean, Trump has everything sewed up: the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court. A highly motivated, highly motivated following. He's going to
I
do a
agree with
lot.
all that. Yeah, but I would also say that he's put Democrats in a position that they have to defend stuff that is not popular, that is very
Yeah,
unpopular.
yeah, yeah.
What like I was thinking this the other day, like what's going to be the 2026, Dems platform? We're going to open the borders back up. We're going to have government, waste back in the, back
Right.
in the game. We're going to be in endless wars. It's like
Yeah,
good luck on that platform.
yeah. No, I agree. The message, to me, they don't really connect with the people. They're not saying what we're really thinking. They do too much social issue fighting, and that's not enough. It's important, but that's not the main thing. I'm tired of hearing it. They're not
mm,
serious about winning, not at all. No,
yeah.
no, they're just
But
going to line up for the corporations of America. That's their main duty. That's the thing they will do well. Protect the money.
you gonna you're gonna like that 5K check that Elon's gonna get you guys at the end of the year?
I mean, we'll
Stimulus check.
see. We'll see.
No, he said he said he's gonna give out Doge savings, like 20% of what he saves to everybody. And they said it might be around 5 grand. I
Hmm.
mean, we'll
But
see if that actually happens, but
that's what I'm talking about though. Like stuff like that. It's like how they would do it in
Mm.
Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got like a kind of like a government card. It's like where they give like if you're an adult, it's like $200, and then
Yeah.
you got kids, it's like whatever. But
Hmm.
like
oh, you're talking about universal health care.
yeah.
That's
Oh
probably
no, but it's
something.
like for food and stuff. Where
Oh.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, universal income. Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that Yang guy when he was running for presidency a couple of cycles ago, he had proposed that in his campaign. If you're not working, you receive a check, a nice amount of money every month, so that you could just be in the game. You could spend money. I mean, it'll trigger people to spend money. It'll just circulate money into the economy, and it'll keep people from losing their homes, not having an income. Because with AI and better automation, these things are coming, and I don't see them having a backup plan. I mean, there's going to be a generation and a half of people that aren't ready for it.
Hmm.
So got to
Yeah.
do
But
something.
I'm talking about like for people who work, it's like it's just normal shit.
Oh, it's yeah,
Oh, I
UBI's
see.
for everybody.
Are
Yeah.
you okay? Oh, I see. Okay. Mm,
Yeah, yeah. Universal basic. It was what was like what do they say like maybe like 5-10 grand a year or something like that that everyone
okay.
would get.
Okay.
Which would be
Mm,
Yeah,
nice.
with Andrew Yang. He was a
yeah.
Democrat running.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I mean, it could happen. I don't know. I will
I
I
see what
mean,
mean,
happens
it's
with.
it's not forever. It's not forever. It's
Yeah.
to save a generation to prevent them from total collapse, and then we
Um,
move on to something else.
that's why like I said, why it's gonna be hard for the Dems is like if they cut you a check and like, oh, we eliminated
Yeah.
all this government waste and we cut you a check
Right.
from that government waste, like are
Sure.
you gonna really vote for more government waste like in the next
Yeah.
cycle? Like that's what is like it's they're in a tough spot. That's
Yeah. I agree.
you
That's
know,
fine.
imagine though
Plus,
if they start cracking down and shit, and then you actually do get some money, motherfuckers is not gonna be playing around. They're gonna be like,
if you combine that with property taxes being eliminated, that would be the game changer right there.
mm.
Because you DeSantis is already doing it in Florida. He's already trying to get property taxes eliminated.
yeah, that shit's ridiculous. It don't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, then, for instance, then how does education get paid for then?
In
That is a
United
good
States,
point.
in United States,
No,
Well,
I mean,
we'd
yeah,
have to fire you'd have to find another way to fund education.
right.
But
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it's always been done, right? I mean, property taxes pay for the local school education. So if you eliminate it, then how do the schools get funded? That becomes a
oh, you
problem.
just no, you just switch it around. How's anything get paid and shit? It's just
Mm,
we necessarily don't need to know, but it's just
mm,
switch some shit around because that don't work.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Mm,
Same shit with like
oh,
who is it? Like, we pay the police, we pay the fire department, we pay, it's like,
yeah,
which taxes are
social income,
those?
right.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, just take that shit out of our taxes and that's
yeah, that's probably what it would be. We'll like lose property taxes, but we'll gain like some new tax.
Yeah, yeah,
School
yeah,
tax or something.
yeah.
yeah.
Something, yeah.
But like honestly, like wouldn't you like to see that shit? Like if you had to pay some type of
Yes.
tax, it's like school tax, it's like, all right, $13, every paycheck or some shit. It's like,
If
okay,
you
like
think about every item you get, how much that shit is taxed already, and then
Mm,
if you even wanted to sell that item you just bought, like you're technically are supposed to pay tax on it. Like
yeah,
stuff is we're paying double tax, triple tax on so much
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
yeah. Marijuana.
The most tax. Yeah, how about it, right? We're the most
Right.
taxed people in history. There's no civilization before us that gets taxed like we do. Not even close.
So I think like I don't know. You see a lot of like I think me like it's kind of a fundamental belief that I have is that and I think John will disagree with me on this, is that I think America, when it was first founded and how it was kind of supposed to be, was supposed to be like you can fail or you can succeed. And there wasn't really like much of a safety net. If you think about all of these modern, if you think about Social Security and if you think about all of the stuff, that stuff came around the 40s. Like
Yeah,
America was a country for 200 years before there was ever Social Security. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's just like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes some of these social programs kind of take away from like America is kind of a boomer bust place in a way. Like it kind of always was that. If you think about like the gold rush or, various times in American history. And I don't know, it just seems all these like They're trying to like I always felt like America's trying to turn us into Europe with all of these social programs. And I think you're just seeing like with these with Doge, how much of our money was just being wasted on just like how that adds up over 20, 30 years of just we're paying for Sesame Street in Iraq. We're paying millions of dollars so that they can have Sesame Street in Iraq. It's like, what are we taught? Like, what are we doing?
So Doge is Department of Justice.
No, Doge is
Dogecoin.
no. I'm talking about the
Elon. You talking
Elon
about?
government efficiency.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
Doge,
Doge. What's it stand for?
Department of Government Efficiency.
Oh, okay.
It's I don't know. I like you take Social Security. That shit. I'm not gonna have Social Security. You're not, or Kevin. You're not probably gonna have Social Security. It's this scam from the '40s. Well, kind of a scam from the '40s that people benefited on. We're never gonna see that shit, or we're gonna get it when we're like 85 years old. You know.
I
Well,
plan to
okay.
be rich anyways. I'll be
If
rich by then.
if you don't mind me interjecting, all right. Here's the thing. I mean, as civilization progresses, what worked back then doesn't necessarily mean that it works for the future. Things change. I
That's
think
true.
social security um, is an absolute because people are living longer, and though we live longer, we may have health issues, but we're living longer. And for that reason, if you're unable to work, there has to be some way of paying back your honest hard work, especially if you've been paying into a system to maintain your dignity until death. You're not going to live that long. And I think Social Security is an absolute important function. I don't see any other way around it.
Oh, there's
I
another
mean,
way. There's
I
a
mean,
cheaper way.
tell
You
me.
see, you can
In
tell who's the
China,
guy
in
that's closer to
China,
retirement and who are the two guys that are way far away from retirement.
Yeah.
what's up with all these
Yeah,
fucking plane crashes though?
Yeah.
They're
I
just
don't think it's that crazy. Like the amount of play, I think it's only just being emphasized. I really do. It's only just being emphasized. There's like not that many. It's just being covered. I think this comes back to
it's been a
no,
lot.
for real, for real. If All right, you take the one from Washington D.C. out, which was, we talked about that the other week. I think they show we're down like 30, 40 per month. Like there's like 80, 90 accidents, aviation accidents per month. I think this is one of the maybe I'm wrong. This is one of
Mm.
those like we have nothing else against Trump, so we're gonna focus on eggs and airplane crashes because we have nothing else. And
Eggs are
everybody
fucking
knows that Biden
expensive as
killed all
hell
the
right now.
chickens. Huh?
Eggs are expensive as hell right now.
Yes, they
Biden killed
are.
all the chickens. That's why they keep talking about it. Biden killed a million and a half chickens right before he left
But
office.
wasn't it to prevent bird flu? Wasn't there a bird flu epidemic potential?
If
Got to
you
do
wanted to
something.
take
Oh,
the dem talking points, you would say it's bird flu, right? You would say they had bird flu, we had to kill them. But then you would say, Dems, why are you emphasizing the price of eggs so much when you know that we had to kill a million and a half chickens?
Mm,
Why are you pumping it up every day? It's
mm,
that's a
because
good one. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Mm.
yeah, that's why they're talking about it all the time because they're the ones that kill all the chickens right before he left office.
It just
Yeah,
seems. I get
this is why you have the Republican on. So
Yeah, because the
it.
price has like tripled on some fucking eggs, man.
Oh,
hey,
more than triple. I mean, they're like $9. I remember not long ago,
what it
$1.78,
is a business
$2.25.
opportunity.
It is. It is.
$28 for like a case.
Yeah.
I was my best friend's new girlfriend raises chickens,
Mm.
so she's she got the hookup on eggs now. But
Yeah.
hey, all that is an opportunity, you
Yeah.
know, a lot of that,
Yeah.
but it'll
So if
Yeah. I
it
correct.
mean,
if it doesn't
chickens are
You,
the.
change, yeah, I'll get some chickens.
you
Or
notice they don't talk about anything else though. I mean, look, you saw what I paid 270 at the pump today. That's pretty nice. 270.
yeah, that's
It's getting
crazy.
there.
Yeah.
Give it time, but I'm like maybe I'm just so pro Trump because I was so terrified of the alternative, honestly. Like, I can't imagine if we were getting, can you imagine getting 10,000 more people here every single day? It was going to continue, you know?
Mm.
I don't know, but
I got a very different take on that.
go for it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
No,
No, I'm
I
fine.
mean, ultimately it just comes down to American policy. All right. These people are coming here because there is a bigger picture that we're not looking at. It's what we're doing in those countries that are driving these people here. From what I understand, there are American companies that own huge tracts of land for farming. Like when we get our fruits and vegetables from all over the world, it's not those countries sending it. It's American companies that own the land. And so you got a lot of subsistence farmers that aren't really making a living, and a lot of people that don't benefit from that subsistence farming. So they come to the United States. All those countries have something to do with what we're doing to that country. I think if we change our policies and strengthen their hand in those countries, they'd just stop coming. But we make it easy for them to come here because it's our policies how we deal with these countries and have dealt with them for decades. Eventually, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. You can't honestly think that being arrogant forever is going to be forever. A lot of people like to say Americans are ignorant. It's not ignorant, it's arrogant. Ignorant, you can learn. You can learn and you can be better. But when you're arrogant, the only thing you can learn is humility. And until America gets humiliated, it continues to be arrogant. I think we make too many mistakes in this, how we treat other people, and we don't look at the bigger picture. Like ultimately, if you're doing this just to satisfy your personal need to be right, what about the other people, the other end of that? Some people, I think they oppose just simply for the sake of opposing when the issues have nothing to do to them directly, but yet they line up in the masses to vote against you, and they are not in that position. If we live in a free country, we're going to have to honestly believe that. And some people that we are not comfortable with, as long as they're not breaking the law, they should live free. Live free. Do what you want to do in the context in a safe space where you're allowed to do so. You know, um, that's what I'm about, and I don't see that with the Republican Party. I don't see that. I think they pick and choose what they think is freedom, and there's a whole
I don't
lot
disagree
more.
with that.
There's a whole lot more to it, and
Yeah, but I
ultimately,
think also
yeah,
at the same time though is like the way that like the Democrats handled that shit though is like the bigger problem of like the cleanup right now. And I don't necessarily agree with like the way Trump does whatever, but at the same time, like it was so many people that were like these immigrants, like they were in like police stations, bus
yeah,
stations, like just like hundreds of them. Because I seen it when I was in Chicago myself, and it's like then it's we're paying money, like tax money and stuff to keep them here.
yeah.
And, it's just like if Biden didn't do that, and then it would be, less of a cleanup situation that has to be, well, that's being done. I think Trump needs to like do whatever he's doing, very humanely, you know. That's like the main thing.
I don't disagree with you, John, but what I would say, and I think this is what makes people liberals in a lot of way, and it's what made me a Democrat for a while and a liberal for 8, 10 years of my life. I was a Democrat. Is that I totally get what you say about, the people in the world and all of that stuff, but at the end, you can literally take that road forever though, and I think that's the problem when you say pick and choose. In a way, it is pick and choose because there's a finite amount of resources and there's a finite amount of, you know, there's endless. If you say, we should give a middle class family, to anyone who crosses the border, then how long does that till we have to give it to the continent of North America, to the world in a way? And it's just there's no
No,
end
no,
to
no,
that.
no, no. I don't mean that. I mean, they got to go. No, I'm talking
Oh,
about the bigger picture is they shouldn't have been coming here from the beginning. It's American
yeah,
policy that brings them here. We can't blame them for the effects of what ultimately Americans are responsible for. They come here, and I feel bad for it because we consume the drugs and we fill these countries with our weapons.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we drive them
we
here.
also are the most badass planet, country on the planet too. That's why people come here.
Well, yeah, for the opportunities, there's no other place in America, in the world, where you can come in as a nobody and become a millionaire. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone can become a millionaire. You just got to have the right idea. So yeah, for that reason, but that still doesn't make us perfect. That's just
No, oh my
opportunity.
God,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah, it's an
and
example.
I'll echo what you say about us, the regime changes and all the shit we've done in the world in the last 50, 60, 70 years
Sure,
is
sure.
we don't even know the half of it, in
It's just
reality,
bits
but
and
the stuff we
pieces,
do
bits
know,
and pieces. Yeah, bits and pieces. We know they've been doing it in Latin America for decades. We know they've
yeah,
been doing it in Africa for decades, and they were doing it in Asia for decades. But the Asians, their income's going up a little higher, so their foothold isn't quite the same. And China wants that part of the world, so it's a little tougher.
yeah,
But the other parts of the world, man, yeah, they're still doing it to them, still doing it to this
yeah.
day. But things are changing. Things are changing, and it might not be a good thing for the United States. This sudden change, yeah, I might not be ready for it. Yeah, I hope
I think
that.
that.
Go ahead, please.
Oh no, no, no. I was gonna say I think that's why like maybe this Greenland purchase is important.
Mm, mm,
These stuff because you what you talk about, I agree with, and we may need to become more independent in the
right,
future with when it
right,
comes to that's the good news is we have tons of oil, you know,
right,
and we've ignored this fact that we have tons of oil for a long time. And if
yeah,
we get Greenland and if we get, Ukraine mineral rights, we'll be good on the minerals for a while. If we can get to the moon or whatever, that'll even be
mm,
better.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
I'm
mean,
weirdly
it's possible.
optimistic. I'm
Yeah, I mean, it's
weirdly
possible,
optimistic for the
but I,
future.
I don't think Denmark's going to allow it. I mean, not Denmark. I mean, the Greenland people. I don't think they want that. Because the minute they say yes to anything, they lose their country. They lose everything. they're
Well, they're not a country right now.
not.
They're
No, they're not a country. A protectorate, are they?
Greenland?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going on with them? Because I heard a little bit about it, but I'm pretty sure one of you guys could explain it. They're
Well,
Mm,
about to lose
I
their
mean,
country.
it holds strategic importance. If you look at it on the map, it's
mm,
very strategically important just for with like the oceans that pass through it and where it's located, in terms of Russia. And it's huge. And then it's got
mm,
tons and tons of minerals, I guess. I mean, I don't know,
yeah,
but that's what they say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rare earth
And
minerals for that we need for
and who wants it?
The
everybody.
world.
Like
Yeah.
Everybody wants it.
who should
It's
China's
get it?
the
made China's made a bid for it. China's made a
yeah.
bid for it to buy it. Yeah.
That's why it's like us wanting it. I mean, everybody wants it in reality.
Yeah.
They just don't. They
Yeah.
don't talk about it. But
How
Right.
much is
Well,
it? How much?
global warming is melting a lot of the ice. Before, I mean, they all knew that it was rich in things, but the ice was not impenetrable, but it would add to the cost, tremendous costs to get rid of the ice. But now the ice is melting and it's exposing all the ground, so you can start digging. And it's not when they're digging into the ground, it's not like they're digging into a forest. It's just empty ground. So
Yeah, that
let's
hasn't been
go.
touched.
Yeah, it
You
hasn't
know,
been touched. All right.
all the dinosaur
All
fucking
right. All right.
juice.
And it's also very volcanically active, I believe. Yeah, no, it is. It's very volcanically active. I think they're one of the few countries that use geothermal energy to run their power plants. You know, so
Mm.
that's also another plus. Yeah.
How much is a bid go?
I,
Billions or
oh,
like how much to buy it?
billions.
Like
Yeah.
how much? Give me an
I think they
estimate.
offer
3 billion?
trillions. I mean, I would
Trillion?
No, more than 3 billion. But you can make out. The thing is, you can make some deal with like. The thing is, if you get the mineral rights, you can make some deal with like what we're doing with Ukraine. Like oh, sell it to us, and then we'll cut you in on, what we mine for whatever, however long or something. I mean, there's ways around it,
Yeah, but I
but
mean,
I
it's
don't.
to mine there. It's the infrastructure to mine. There's not that many people on Greenland, so a mining company, even a modest sized company, if it's 300 people mining, each one of those people need a support system for them to exist there, so you bring people in tow, people open up shops and other things like that to support the infrastructure of these 300 men that are mining. It'll grow, and they'll outpopulate the natives and take it from them, outvote them in their local elections. I'm a Greenlander now.
That's what they try to do out here with the fucking
So I
votes.
just make them a state.
So I don't know if it's going to be that easy. I wouldn't want to give up the
No,
sovereignty that we have. Yeah.
but they're what Trump's leverage is. They're a NATO ally.
Right.
We're the big cheese, and we can
Yeah.
push people around.
So what
Right.
I want to see is I don't want to do the White House thing no more. I want to do a castle. What
What?
do you guys a castle? Like swap out the White House, like and we'll do a like United States.
Castle.
Yeah.
Ca-
I think that's
Okay.
better.
Good luck. Okay. Random.
No, I'm
It
just
would be
saying.
interesting. It
It
would
would
be
be
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Get like a drawbridge that like lowers down and then lets
Hey,
people in.
A
why
serious
not?
moat around it. A serious moat around it.
You're talking about a guy who loves castles, so that's kind of my thing. I love
Oh yeah.
castles.
A
Oh
Tesla
yeah.
castle. It's all
Yeah,
like futuristic.
Yeah.
battery powered, electric shock, in the moats.
So, what do you guys think about what Elon's doing right now? I mean, I'm just going to say this real quick. He's a foreigner, foreign interference in our elections, blah, blah, blah. Not an American, not an American, not an American. And he is making policies that affect a lot of people, just firing people, treating everyone as if though uh, he's at Twitter or he's at Tesla or he's at one of his companies and he's just I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like what Elon's doing. I used to be a big fan of his work. I thought he was serious about science and engineering and that he was trying to take us to another level, but I think he's just wallowing around
I don't think I
doing
ever remember you.
shenanigans.
I don't think I ever remember you liking him though, John.
No, oh no.
No,
No.
Elon's a
Oh,
space guy, so
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
was I was for him. No, it's just that when he started talking nonsense, then I realized, man, he's not serious about going to Mars. If you're gonna go to Mars, man, you can't sidetrack yourself with this bullshit, man. The the
Hmm.
the politics of the day, you can't change it. That's just the politics of the day. That's how we gossip. I thought he was smart enough to recognize that and ignore it and continue on with his work, but instead he weighs in on it. So then, man, I mean, he's not serious about going to Mars. And engineering wise, he cannot go to Mars. The rocket that he's building is an amazing ship, but people will die if they take that ship to Mars. They will absolutely die. It's not made for what he's hoping. To the moon and
Well,
back
it's
all
it's not
day.
ready yet. It's not ready yet. Yeah,
It's
no,
not
it's
ready
gonna
yet.
take some time.
It's going to take some time, and it's not going to happen in his lifetime. That's what I mean.
I,
He's in his
I don't
fifties.
know. We'll see.
Mm, he's in his
Yeah.
50s. Yeah, he's in his 50s. That's what I'm saying. He can't keep playing like this. If he's going to take this shit serious, man, he's got to be on it. He can't be sidetracking with media posts and all that shit. To me, he's not taking it serious. I know he's not the only one. He's got a huge staff. He's not actually physically doing it, but I think he can motivate and he can keep things on track and meet deadlines and all these things, but instead he's distracted. So I don't like his bullshit.
Mm,
That's I don't like where he plays around.
mm.
hmm.
Yeah, he's
I
pretty good with those deadlines, though. He is pretty amazing with those deadlines, I'll tell you that.
No, he is with SpaceX. No, with SpaceX, I was impressed, man. I watched as much of it as possible. All of his test flights that were recorded and they shared it. Man, I watched them all, man. I was
Hmm.
amazed by it. I was proud of him. I wanted him to succeed. I still want him to succeed. Great inventions happen by all kinds of people, good or bad. right or wrong doesn't matter. Just get the shit done, so we can move on to the next level. That's the politics of the day. It has to be done,
I like
right?
Elon myself as a person. I mean, I read his book and stuff, so I got like he be on the grind, they would say.
Mm.
You know,
He's repopulating the earth, that's for sure.
Yeah. How many kids do you have now?
14,
14. Hot diggity dog.
4 different mothers.
mm.
Oh,
Mm,
that Ashley Sinclair girl. Oh man, that was in my neck of the woods. That was a big deal.
mm.
When did this come out? This
No, did you
recent?
hear that story on Twitter,
No,
Mm.
Kevin
no.
or John? Oh,
No.
Ashley Sinclair. I don't. He's um. She was a popular right wing conservative. I guess it's like there's this movement going around that like old OnlyFans girls and like porn stars are trying to make a Christian and a Republican right turn. So
Mm.
like she was one of these girls that was used to be like a prostitute, I think. And she made this, they call it trad wife, traditional wife, and they kind of make this right turn and they all start posting all this stuff. And yeah, then she got caught up with Elon and then it kind of blew all that up. But
Mm. Mm. Interesting.
what I was gonna say to John or earlier was, I mean, yeah, that's about Elon is like what I'm not gonna like paint rosy colored glasses. I think a lot of the reason why he's doing this is because he's gonna get big government contracts in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. In the end, that's what he's
And so
That's
doing.
that's why
illegal.
he's
That's illegal.
okay. Well, this is a new world,
Well,
but
all right. New world.
Te
A million
technically,
clause.
technically, he's a government, like he works for the government right
All
now.
right. And
Uh,
steering contracts to his company.
yeah, that's conflict of interest
the
right there. That's illegal.
talk about it is because like they were like, oh, how does Doge have power? How does Doge have all this power? They just took an existing government agency and they just changed the mission statement and they just put Elon in charge of it. That's what they did.
Mm.
So like they
That's
didn't
what they
need to
do.
create a new government agency. They just gave him an existing one that wasn't being used
But
and
that's
then
what
just
they do.
changed. Yeah.
They got like hundreds of them, thousands. They're like, oh yeah, fucking this one,
Well,
new one.
that's why he's getting rid of them.
Yeah,
But that's
you
what
know.
I think that's the end goal. I think that's why he's doing all this chicanery, as John, John one might say it, is that if he buddies up to Trump and then JD gets elected, he's got 12 years,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I
So,
think if he gets down to
Government
the
council.
bottom line of like all the spending though, like all the fucking loose cash and shit, then he's doing a good job. And I feel like nobody's been doing it,
well,
obviously.
that's how he gets popular support.
Hmm.
Is he gets people money back. He gets,
Yeah,
he cuts savings,
yeah,
and then we reward him by the United States government rewards him for his great service
yeah,
by giving him billions and billions of dollars to try to go to Mars.
yeah. Let's do it. Shit, everybody wins then, right?
I don't know. I'm
No.
not a big space guy like
I want to get
John,
to
so
Mars
I don't
too.
know.
Shit. I want to get to the bottom of the ocean also, That's where the aliens are, obviously.
Did you guys see that fish that came up from
Yeah.
the
No, what,
bottom?
what, what? What
There's
kind of
this
fish?
fish that only resides at like the very bottom of the ocean, and then like I guess it came up and people actually got a photograph of it, and it dies,
Mm.
but it was like this fish that they've never really seen before, I guess, that only
Well,
lives at the
what do you
bottom.
know? What did it look like?
It was the fish with like the light in front. It's like a
Oh,
light.
okay,
So it's
sure.
a very tiny fish, and
Hmm.
it came up uh as it was gonna die. So it took its last breaths, but it wanted to
Mm.
like basically see the light and stuff, and it was like
Right.
very powerful. Yeah.
If you want to
It's
put the
Mm.
cheese ball motives behind that, I guess you could say that, but
yeah.
Okay.
it wanted to see the light just one time.
Yeah. Because it's at the bottom of the ocean where it's all
Right, right.
dark. It's rare.
And the pressure difference is dramatic. For them to come up, there's something going wrong with their bodies. That they would never come up. They're designed to just be down there and nowhere else. To
Could you
come up is
imagine? Yeah, could you
dangerous.
imagine the journey?
Right, a slow
If
journey
only he
upwards.
had a
Right.
video blog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost like being in a vacuum. Like without pressure. It would be weird. Hmm. Maybe something's going on at the bottom of the ocean, forcing an animal that would never come up to come up.
Could be.
Interesting. Hmm.
Or maybe that animal became conscious and was like,
Yeah, that's it. I'm
Suicide.
lost the one time. I've been
yeah,
in the dark my whole life.
yeah. So what am I doing down here? Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a probe on its way to Europa. If we're talking about a little space news, I don't know when it's gonna get there, but maybe in a few years. You know, maybe 4 years from now.
You said a probe?
Yeah, I mean a satellite, and I believe a probe is attached to it, and it's going to detach, and it's going to circle the Europa at pretty low altitude, and it's going to go into these vents. They got these vents that spit out hot water like geysers, you know.
Hmm.
So the probe's going to go through it, collect the water, and analyze it, and see if there's organic material in it, like animal shit or animal parts in it. So that's exciting, you know.
You know,
That's
Russia has
pretty
a lot
cool.
of space junk, like
Like
space,
satellites.
like yeah, in their space atmosphere shit.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it makes it hard for us to like try to get over there and spy on them or some shit.
Right, right. Might be strategic. It might be on purpose. You know, if it's filled with a lot of crap, it's harder to put your stuff, in where you want it, I guess. But I mean, but it would go over everybody though. You know, the trash just circulates around the planet.
It's
Yeah,
always
all
hard
the
to
time.
tell with Russia.
Yeah,
Was this intentional or was this on accident?
yeah.
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
Yeah.
What about all right, you want to talk about something on my world that was really disappointing and upset was those Epstein files. That
Yeah,
that big release this week.
sure.
Man, that was what a disappointment that was. You guys,
Well, tell me about it. What happened?
well, they had all these influencers come to the Oval Office.
Hmm.
They promised day one releases on this stuff, on the Epstein files and all that. And this was like day 10, and they still hadn't released anything. And then they called these social media influencers to the Oval Office, and they gave them this binder.
Mm,
And basically, the binder had nothing in it. It was nothing of importance, nothing new. And it
mm,
was just a big waste of time. And it was just like,
mm.
man, are we ever going to get this
This
stuff?
binder.
Or
Well, I mean, even if like you want to get into the files, but like what happened to him? I believe it was the mafia, you know?
the mafia?
Yeah, that's the only people who could get to him, in a
Mm,
prison
Hmm.
like that. That's how they do it, man.
What? I know
Yeah,
of
mafia. If you listen to
well,
like cause I be listening
kind of a
to
mafia.
I listen to a podcast called Soft White Underbelly.
mm,
Host name is Mark. But he be like interviewing like Sammy the Bull and shit like that. Like
mm.
big time fucking
Oh, is that
mafia.
Mark Franzese? That guy?
I don't know his last name.
Uh,
But he
okay.
like interviews like prostitutes and shit and like like all types of criminals and shit and like KKK and crazy shit.
Mm.
Homeless people. And I mean I like people who like deal with addiction and like heroin addicts and crackheads and but it's like to like
But he was a former capo, right? He was a
uh,
capo of some family.
mhm. Yeah, you had a rap fucking
Yeah.
turns you know how that shit goes. They put a hit on you, you about to die, so you gotta go fucking talk to the feds.
What do you think about this Epstein files, John?
Well, I mean, I mean, as a man, um, Epstein found a way to get as much sex as possible and profit from it. He found men that were desperate to have sex with girls that were underage, and he hung around them. And he convinced them that he had a system where you can break the law, be immoral, and get away with it. There's overwhelming evidence of very particular powerful men that have been in his circle for years. pictures, audio, stories. There. If you hung out with him more than once, that's what you were there for. There's no doubt that's what you were there for. He was a pimp, and he was pimping out underage girls. You know, um,
Why do you think the files haven't been released yet? Like Kevin
because of
said,
the
mafia.
because there are powerful people that are on that list.
Hmm.
There are people with power on that list, and it can't get out. I mean, the obvious people are like Clinton, Trump. What's that lawyer guy's name?
Dershowitz.
Dershowitz. Those are the ones that we're pointing a finger at because there's overwhelming evidence that they hung around them. But there are other people too, a
Hmm.
lot of other
Yeah.
people, and mafia maybe, but the mafia is not as powerful as I
To
don't
kill
know
him.
5 or 6
No,
billionaires
to kill him though. These billionaires,
to
what
kill
they
them.
Yeah.
do, these billionaires, they pay the mafia. The mafia could get in there.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
I mean.
Pay
Yeah,
the
the
guards. The
billionaires got
guards
the money.
already
Right.
work for them and stuff. And hey,
Right.
Boy, wouldn't you want to be a fly on the wall on what happened in that prison cell that night? Oh my
nah,
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
not really,
Yeah. Right.
not really.
Oh, to be
It's
a fly
probably
on the wall? Absolutely.
Yeah.
to watch a murder.
Sure. I
I think
mean,
I think
I think.
I doubt he killed himself.
Yeah. No, of course not.
no. No, come
Yeah,
on. No.
There was no reason
He
for
had
him to
all the
do
reason
it.
in the world to live. He
Yeah.
could have just cut a deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
he would have cut a deal, right? That's what the scary thing is for like a lot of people. He was gonna cut a deal. They had him. He was gonna
Yep.
squeal. So
Right.
it's like, billionaires.
Yeah, right. So yeah, so for me, like I said, making that sexual trope, like, this is how, you know, guys, you know, guys like that. Yeah, there's no doubt that that's what they were doing. 100% that every man associated with him, that's what you were doing, because that's what he was all about. It's like hanging around a drug dealer, knowing that he's slinging dope all day, and you're hanging around with him. Eventually, you're gonna get some of that dope because it's there.
See, my theory is that he's Mossad. He's Israeli intelligence. And that's why we haven't got the list yet. Because
Mm.
Israel has a list. And a lot of those people on that list is Israeli or Jewish.
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
why we haven't seen the list. That would be
Hmm.
that's my,
Hey, I like
I
it.
think he's Israeli intelligence. That would be my theory.
Oh,
Hmm.
how'd you get
Yeah.
that though?
Or at least a spook,
No,
someone
that's
with
like
one
far
job,
fetched
right?
though. Like, how do you get that? Like,
Well, he's Jewish, for one.
yeah.
And two,
A lot of connections.
a lot of connections. If you think about what he has a lot of connections into, he's a lot of connections into film, a lot of
Yeah.
connections into music, which is
And he can blackmail people because he's got
he
shit
can
on you.
blackmail people.
Hmm.
And then why haven't we seen the list yet?
Hmm.
We haven't seen the list yet because it's not
Why?
our list. It's
Why?
Israeli.
Hmm. But then why would he be locked up? Like, not be
Who
able to.
caught him?
Because he got caught. The moral thing is you got to show the world, like, when you do this, you get in trouble. So he had to go through the 5-step process. The last step,
That's what I think.
putting the guy
Did he
free.
just disappear though? Like, do they really have
No,
his
No,
body?
he's dead. I'm sure he's
yeah,
dead.
You sure he's dead?
yeah.
You
I
positive?
mean, geez, if we go that route, Tupac might still be alive. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I think I always think of who because you got to like who can pay both sides of the government when a lot of this. That's how I think of things. Like whenever you see bipartisanship on something, I always think who is powerful enough to pay off both sides because that's what it takes. Because nobody, one side is paying off, one's to always stop something. So if there's ever bipartisanship, somebody's paying for that bipartisanship in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's class warfare. Ultimately, that's what it's about. One side plays it very well. The other side, it just, we're just there.
But yeah, that was a disappointment, man. I thought I was ready. I was hyped. I was like, man, Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, they're not going to disappoint me. They're going to come out with it. And they totally shit the bed, like 100%. There's no way around it.
Mm. Mm. Cash for tell. Huh?
So now we're still in limbo here, you know.
Mm.
They apparently the New York office was, you know, in some sort of coup against them. So
Mm. Mm.
but they have that this New York FBI office has thousands of Epstein documents that they just won't send.
Mm.
So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, powerful folks. Yeah.
I don't know. I was that you talk things are pretty good in my land, I would say right now, but that was the one thing, and that was massively disappointing was
Was
I was
Diddy on
real
the list?
the Epstein files. That was mass. I
Uh,
thought we would for
Yeah.
sure get answers on that,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Was
was let
Diddy?
down.
I wonder if Diddy was on there.
Mm.
Uh,
Rock the vote, right?
yeah,
Right.
music.
Right. Give you some
Well, you
tips.
gotta. That's you. It makes me wonder what's up. Is Kanye really crazy? Or is he like trying to send some weird message in some weird, like really weird way? You know? I don't know. Probably not, but
He's pretty smart. I mean, I listened to him on Joe Rogan and stuff. He's
who?
a bit,
Kanye?
yeah.
I think Kanye's struggling. I think I don't think he's 100% there. I mean, he's struggling. I mean, you could struggle and still say profound things, amazing things, but you're still struggling. The man's not 100%. You can push his buttons very easily and get him to have a psychotic episode. He's frail. I think something's wrong with him. And people take too much stock in what he says. That's
Yeah.
it. If you knew him, if he was someone at work, everyone's call him weird. Oh, man, here he comes again, man. That's that weird dude again. He's gonna pick a fight just to pick a fight.
Just
Look for
imagine what
things
money
that are
can
not
do,
there.
you know?
Right. Kanye. Oh.
All right, guys. I think we could wrap this up. It's been an amazing podcast once
Mhm.
again.